Play a dance tune, Irish jig from Sussex. I kid not. Okay? 1, 2, 1, 2. Sometimes quite funny to put, interesting to put two songs side by side. So that's what we're going to do now. I'm going to sing a song called The Banks of Allen Water. You went walking there today, didn't you?
We went walking there today.
Walking on the banks of the Allen today.
I went to look at the lead mines.
I did the...
Where? Which one? Where?
Up in Allen Heads.
And then Will's going to follow it with a song that's sort of the same story but different. On the banks of Allen Water, when the springtime...
Sweet springtime did fall.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. If I get stuck again, you can... On the banks of Allen Water, when the sweet springtime did fall, there the lovely miller's daughter, fairest of them all, for a bride the soldier sought her, and a winning tongue had he. On the banks of Allen Water, none so gay as she. On the banks of Allen Water, when the autumn shed its store, there was seen the lovely daughter, but she smiled no more. For the summer grief had taught her, and a soldier false was he. On the banks of Allen Water, none so sad as she. On the banks of Allen Water, when the winter snow fell fast, still was seen the miller's daughter, chilling bloom the blast. But the lovely miller's daughter was from cold and care quite free. On the banks of Allen Water, there a corpse lay she.
down in the countryside lived old Grey the miller, and down by the waterside there grew a weeping willow. Now under the willow tree sat the miller's daughter, a singing along and a gazing long into the bubbling water. She sat by the bubbling water under the weeping willow tree. Well, the tears fell from her eyes, and her hands she was a-wringing, and first she cried, and then she sighed, and then she started singing. Now all the world's a waste, and life to me is odious, since Willie deserted me and went off to join the soldiers. She sat by the bubbling water under the weeping willow tree. Well, then from her bosom she took a piece of needle cover, and on it she wrote a very short note to her deceitful lover, saying, take this straight to William Fix, and quick to him be telling, is Susan died from suicide? P.S. excuse bad spelling. She sat by the bubbling water under the weeping willow tree. Well, then she looked at the needle case that William he had bought her. She looked to the left, then she looked to the right, then she looked down into the water. Well, then her mortal life she did prepare to injure. Her head went bare, and the colour of her hair was a delicate shade of ginger. She sat by the bubbling water under the weeping willow tree. Well, then she looked at the tree above, and she thought, I'll hang in me garter. But what a mistake if me garter breaks, I'll be drowned in the water. Well, then she looked at the water below, and her nerve began to totter. I'm not very bold, I might catch cold. I'll wait till the weather gets hotter. She sat by the bubbling water under the weeping willow tree. Thank you.
It's very unfair to have to follow.
Oh no.
To follow.
Oh no.
This is a song from the town where I was born, which is called Bicester. Now, people here might know Bicester now. It's got a thing called Bicester Designer Village, which is where you can buy a pair of Jimmy Choo shoes for only 600 quid instead of 850. Apparently it's a bargain. And it's full of people. When I grew up, Bicester was a sort of dossy, small country town, which I suppose from the age of 10 I wanted to leave. There's a song I took down from two old ladies in Bicester, one called Mrs. Cherry, and one called Miss Hammond. Miss Hammond sounds very respectable. In fact, she wasn't. She was a very funny and spicy old lady. It's a song called Langford Brook, and it's about poaching again. Three Bicester chaps went out one day to Gregory's Manor. They made their way. They took 3 dogs in search of game. Clune to Gravenhill Wood they came. Sing laddie-I-O, laddie-I-O, turrelly-urrelly, laddie-I-O. The first it was a bulldog bull, the second a spaniel just 6 months old, the third he was a terrier fine. He was up to the poaching line. Sing laddie-I-O, laddie-I-O, turrelly-urrelly, laddie-I-O. Well, they'd not been there but an half an hour before the spaniel put up but up she jumped and away she ran. The very next moment her pheasant sprang. Sing laddie-I-O, laddie-I-O, churra-lie, laddie-I-O. Well, they'd not beaten the woods all through before Long Shoulder come in view. When they saw the old doctor look, they lathered their way off to Langford Brook. Sing laddie-I-O, laddie-I-O, churra-lie, laddie-I-O. That keeper he was long and strong, by Christ how he did cut along. But more and more he got out to wind, more and more he got left behind. Sing laddie-I-O, laddie-I-O, churra-lie, laddie-I-O. But Langford Brook was up to the brim. You would have laughed to see us swim 6 feet of water, if not more. When we got out, the dogs come more. Sing laddie-I-O, laddie-I-O, churra-lie, laddie-I-O. Swim Langford Brook he would not try, but stop he did where it was dry, and that was the end of a bloody good day. Sing churra-lie, laddie-I-O, sing laddie-I-O, laddie-I-O, churra-lie, laddie-I-O, and laddie-I-O, laddie-I-o, churra-lie, laddie-I-O.
Oh, it's me again. It's you again.
When this chap here got his PhD, which he has, a doctorate from the University of Sussex, we had to do it around McPhail and several others, actually, as we said. And I tried to search really hard for a song about a student to sing. And eventually I found one. I never sang it because it wasn't appropriate at the time, and you'll see why in a minute. It comes from the singing of a Scottish singer called Charlotte Higgins, who was a traveller, and who it was written down by Ewan MacColl and Peggy Seeger in the 1960s. It's called Alan MacLean. I was brought up in Cullen, a minister's son. They gave me good learning till I went from my home. I went to the college a student to be, but a wedding at Westfield's been the ruin of me. There was Grant and Mackenzie, MacDonald and I. We went to a wedding, pretty girls for to spy. We danced and we sang all of that livelong night, till young Sally Allen came first to my side. I said to her, Sally, will you take a dram? Oh yes, my dear Alan, if it be at your hand. She gave me a dance and I gave her a dram, and I asked her kindly, would she go to the broom? We went to the broom in the middle of the night. No lantern burned there and the moon gave no light. But the very next morning her father to college he came. He was all in a passion at young Alan MacLean. If it's true, says the Regent, and I think it's no lie, young Alan MacLean from the college must fly. Today's commemoration, tomorrow's the ball. Young Alan MacLean must quit the Old Town College Hall. Farewell Old Town College, farewell Aberdeen. Farewell pretty Sally that lives on the green. There's a ship Charles Edward Stewart out there on the bay, taking goods and taking passengers, perhaps she'll take me. And if ever I return again, as some say I will, I'll marry pretty Sally in spite of them all. And if ever I return again, as I know I shall, I'll drink a fine bumper in the Old Town College Hall. Alan McLean. This is a song that, in all our many existences, there was a brief year or so when Will and I used to go out together to folk clubs and do bookings.
Our secret is out.
Oh, God, we're out of the closet. Anyway, we used to do quite unlikely things in this. We used to, for instance, do Cajun. Will and I used to do a song, a Cajun song called The Waltz That Sent Me to My Grave, which was actually a wonderful recording from the 1920s, and it sounded really good. It's just that when I sang it, it sounded a bit fucking awful. But we did do a few things. We sang some songs together, not in harmony, but in unison. And this is one of them. It's a song from a wonderful singer called Sam Larner, a Norfolk singer, lives in Norfolk, where myself and my partner Linda now live in Norfolk. And this was collected by a man who also, I think, has connections with this place, a man called Philip Donnellan, who was a BBC filmmaker and recorder. And Philip collected this from Sam Larner in 1958, and it's called Raking Hay.
It worked at lunchtime. A sailor gay went out one day to see what he could gain that way. He met a maid all on his way. She was raking off her master's hay. Good morning to you, maid so fair. How came you raking this hay so clear? Take off your gown, lay down your rake, and gain with a sailor to yonder green gate. What would my master say to me if I left my work, go and gain with thee? He'll stop my wage, he'd stop my pay, he'd stop my very wages and turn me away. But with kisses sweet and words so kind, this sailor changed the young girl's mind. She took off her gown, threw down her rake, and went with the sailor to yonder green gate. But 6 months past and 9 months gone, this young girl brought forth a bonny son. Then she cursed the hour, she cursed the day, she cursed the very hour she left her master's hay. But with 9 months past and 12 months gone, the sailor he came home again. He married her the very next day. Then she blessed the very hour she left her master's hay.
We haven't sung that for 15 years, or longer.
I could tell.
Oh, come on.
Let's do,
What are we doing?
Thanks to the Swell and the Galloway Girth. We'll do a couple of tunes.
2 Scottish tunes from
Do
Sussex.
some Scottish tunes with us.
15 years, or longer.
I could tell.
Oh, come on.
Let's do,
What are we doing?
Thanks to the Swell and the Galloway Girth. We'll do a couple of tunes.
2 Scottish tunes from
Do
Sussex.
some Scottish tunes with us.
I thought it was a Yorkshire tune.
Oh yeah, it's a Yorkshire. We know hundreds of songs we don't know.
And you think, where have you been for the last 50 years?
I know, right, just dust them off, that's what I say.
You haven't done Joe Muggins, have you?
We haven't done Joe Muggins. You're supposed to do Joe Muggins. You're not
Let's
supposed
play
to do...
this tune, then we'll do Joe Muggins. Just do one of each. 1, 2, 1 and 2 and.
Sort of thread, and it's got nothing to do with this song. I was going to sing you a 17-verse ballad called Lord Lovell, but it's much easier, which I can sing, which are much easier for me to sing the parody of it, which comes from London, and it goes like this. Joe Muggins, he stood by his old donkey cart, a brush in his black-looking moke, when up there came Lady Nancy Bell, and unto her lover then she spoke. Oak, oak, and unto her lover then she spoke. Oh, where are you going, Joe Muggins, she said. Oh, where are you going now, said she. I'm a-going to Smithfield, my scrumptious Sally Bell, to sell my old donkey, for to sell my old donkey. And when will you be back, Joe Muggins, she said. And when will you be back, then, said she. About 5:30, maybe 6 o'clock. So get me a bloater for my tea. So get me a bloater for my tea. Now he hadn't been gone but a couple of hours to Smithfield and sold his old donkey, when the thought of his bloater came into his mind. I hope that it's off-road, then said he. I hope that it's off-road, then said he. Now he walked and he walked on the Marylebone Road, till he came to the famed Rose and Crown. But there he saw his Nancy Bell drunk upon the ground, and the people there all fighting around, 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 and the people there all fighting around. So he sent for 2 boxes of Morrison's pills, and in her throat 2 dozen he rammed down, saying you won't get drunk in a hurry now again. As the pill she kept a swallowing, down a down a down. As the pill she kept a swallowing down. Now Nancy Bell, she died from taking those pills, which put Joe Muggins in a fright. So he took 2 dozen of the very same pills, and he gave up the ghost that night, night, night. And he gave up the ghost that night. Now they buried Joe Muggins that very same day, and Nancy Bell in less than a week. And out of her ashes a carrot there grew. And out of Joe Muggins then a leek, a leek, a leek. And out of Joe Muggins then a leek. And they grew to the top of the grave, so they weren't allowed to grow no more, for they was cut down to season the soup that was given then away to the poor, the poor, the poor, and still is, that was given then away to the poor.
Brian, if you don't need to carry on learning that 47 verse thing.
Cut to the chase.
Expressed profound disappointment in the governments we've had over recent years. And I think we're doing the long, long while.
Oh, yes!
All right, okay?
It is a lot. You sure?
What, is this supposed to-
Yes.
It's him again.
I didn't program it. Right, take it away.
It says there's a song we found in Sheila's piano stall.
It's true.
Don't even know the piano now, do you?
It's got a wonderful chorus.
In cottage and in castle, through the breadth of all the land, the cupboards bare and blank despair is ever close at hand. Old England's guarded in the net, prosperity has flown, and everybody's case is just as hopeless as your own. But don't forget the Britain's creed, it's guts what made that bulldog breed.
So never mind if things look glum, you're sure to find there's worse to come. Behind the silver lining, there are black clouds overhead.
Keep calm and cool, wear up the spout, for tomorrow you'll be down and out.
But there's this consolation that you'll soon be dead.
Outside the village public house, the village smithy stands. He's out of work and time is hanging heavy on his hands. He blasts the furnace for he can't afford the price of coal. He cannot buy a drink until he's been to get his dole. Ah, but even if he had the youth, it would be 40 under proof.
But never mind if things get glum, you're sure to find there's worse to come. Behind the silver lining, there are black clouds overhead.
Though there's no doubt that drink's a curse, to go without is 10 times worse.
But there's this consolation that you'll soon be dead.
The birds beneath the summer sun are are singing in the air. Though what they've got to sing about, I neither know nor care. The summer's nearly over and we hardly saw the sun, and winter's close upon us now that autumn has begun. And after that there comes a spring, to my mind worse than anything. But
Never mind if things look long, you're sure to find there's worse to come. Behind the silver lining, there are black clouds overhead.
though moons may wax and wane anew, your next income tax is nearly due. But there's this consolation that you'll soon be dead. Thank you.
Oh, it's 10 weary years since I left England's shores in a far distant country to roam, and I long to return to the land of my birth, to my friends and the old folks at home. Last night as I slumbered I had a strange dream, one that seemed to bring distant friends near. I dreamed of old England, the land of my birth, in the heart of her sons ever near. I saw the old homestead and faces I loved, I saw England's valleys and dales, and I listened with joy as I did when a boy to the sound of the old village bells. The lamps were burning brightly, 'twas a night that would banish all sin, and the bells were ringing the old year out and the new year in. As the joyous bells rang out, I wended my way to the cot where I lived as a boy. I gazed through the window and there by the fire sat my parents, my heart filled with joy. A salt tear ran fast down my bronze-furrowed cheeks as I gazed on my parents so dear. For I knew in their heart they were raising a prayer for the son that they knew not was near. I saw the old homestead and places I loved, I saw England's valleys and dales, and I listened with joy as I did when a boy to the sound of the old village bells. The lamps were burning brightly, 'twas a night that would banish all sin, and the bells were ringing the old year out and the new year in. At the door of the cottage we met face to face, 'twas the first time in 10 weary years. The past was forgotten, we stood hand in hand, mother, father and rambler in tears. In the hearth of the fireplace the Yule log burned bright, and I vowed nevermore would I roam. And I sat in my own vacant chair by the fire, and I sang that old song, Home Sweet Home. I saw the old homestead and places thy love. I saw England's valleys and dales, and I listened with joy as I did when a boy to the sound of the old village bells. The lamps were burning brightly. 'Twas a night that would banish all sin, and the bells were ringing the old year out on the new year.
Thank you very much.
Here's some more.
An encore.
Oh, all right. Well, it's been very nice to be able to. Well, it's been very nice to be able to get together with these two blokes. I mean,
It has, yes, it has.
It's been 20 years since I left Sussex, and was
And it don't seem a day too much.
well, I was pleased to get rid of me.
Yes.
And we've had a very nice time
It's been actually great the last few
It
days.
has, yeah.
playing together and singing together again. I've seen Will occasionally at festivals and had a bit of a play together and so on. And I haven't sing for a long time, but probably keeps doing it and does a bit more sometimes. We used to go, all of us, to regular sessions run by Bob Lewis and the Copper family down in Sussex, a sort of peripatetic session that as we got slung out of each pub we moved on to another one, and these were quite good, and one of the songs that they would sing very late into the evening when too much beer had been drunk by some people but not others was the Rose of Allendale. Now Will was walking on the Allen Banks today and
Nearly fell in.
so we thought we'd sing that. It's got a nice chorus, so you can join in. And how's it start?
That's it.
The morn was fair. The morn was fair. The sky was clear. No breath came over the sea when Mary left her Highland cot and wandered forth with me. The flowers decked the mountainside, and fragrance filled the vale. By far the fairest flower there was the rose of Allendale. Sweet rose of Allendale, sweet rose of Allendale, by far the sweetest flower there, the sweet rose of Allendale. Where'er I wandered, east or west, though fate began to learn, a solace still was she to me in sorrow's lonely hour. When tempest racked my lonely bark and rent the quivering sails, one maiden form withstood the storm. 'Twas the Rose of Allendale. Sweet Rose of Allendale, sweet Rose of Allendale, one maiden form withstood the storm. 'Twas the Rose of Allendale. And when my fevered lips were parched on Africa's burning sand, she whispered words of happiness and tales of foreign lands. My life had been a wilderness, unblessed by fortune's gale. Had fate not linked my lot to hers, the sweet rose of Allendale, sweet rose of Allendale, sweet rose of Allendale, had faith that laid my lot to hers, the sweet rose of Allendale, sweet rose of Allendale, sweet rose of Allendale, had faith that linked my love to hers, the sweet rose of Allendale. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The years have rolled by.
And keep rolling.
Yes, that's a round. Okay.
That's a wrap.
Round of applause for this. Here tonight.
That's a wrap.
You didn't win the raffle though, did you? I mean, statistically, the number of tickets between.
It's your turn. You go over the busty fields, the gun doing the pit. You get your lamp out, your gun and by, and there you sit at the kist. The deputy says the place is hold the letter gun straight on. I says to him, what tomorrow me on? He says you can't gone on. I got 15 out of a Jew.
Titty for law, titty for lay.
By hell, she was good.
Titty for law, titty for lay.
Come out to get a shaft.
I was asked to do this and the job on earn.
Titty for law, titty for lay. All the walls loose.
Do Jack and Bill tomorrow's war in the public house. You talk about the camel's ladder, one frightening moose. Jack says to Bill, by gosh is hard. The tops is like bell metal, but the bottoms is not so bad. I only got 10 a day.
Titty for law, titty for lay.
I only got 10 a day.
Titty for law, titty for lay.
I will get another power. Our listenership was our when the putter got off the way.
Titty for law, titty for lay. Tra-la-la-la-la-la, how the walls loose.
You sure to ken me brother Mick, for he's sea full of wit. He got a job putting up at kosher pits. When he comes home from work, he's like a drowned rat. Instead of going upstairs to bed, he lies upon the mat. Bucket he fills 1,000 more.
Titty for law, titty for lay.
The pay him by the score.
Titty for law, titty for lay.
He fills his tubs so quick. Without any delay, but he can never find his pick.
Titty for law, titty for lay. Tra-la-la-la-la-la, how the walls loose.
No, me name is Jackie Robinson. Say my do advance. I drive a little Galloway and they call him Little Chance. 2 greasy feet likewise a kittlety back. And gunning along the gunning board, he knocks the chumman's knock. I was coming around the turn.
Titty for law, titty for lay.
Chance he wasn't had on.
Titty for law, titty for lay.
The tubs they give a click. Got off the way at the switch, you bugger, I smashed the deputy's kiss.
Titty for law, titty for lay. Tra-la-la-la-la-la, all the walls loose.
Knew me, the wife and the mother-in-law, we went to the Silvery Sea. Me mother-in-law got into a boat, a sailor she would be. She hadn't gone passing 20 yards when all of a sudden they shoot. Me mother-in-law fell into the sea and there she splashing about. Shooting, help, I cannot swim.
Titty for law, titty for lay.
I says, now's the time to learn.
Titty for law, titty for lay.
Me wife says, you who?
With the death
You're
of the
not
mine,
gonna
I
watch
think you're going to
it.
get the death
I
of a
said,
village
no,
at the
I
same
should be
time.
honest.
It is a tragedy to me that she was really in production.
Translations at the heart.
Thank you very much.
Well, the light again came over the hill and the moon was shining clearly. Well, there was a little lady and I knew by souls because he loved him dearly, dearly, so dearly. There was a little lady and I knew by souls because she loved him dearly. Now she's taken him by the kneeside rein, led him to the stable. Here's hay and corn for your horse, young man, he can eat while he is able. Able, so able, is hay and corn for your horse, young man, he can eat while he is able. Now she's taken him by the lily white hand and led him to the table. Here's cakes and wine for you, my dear, you can drink while you are able. Able, so able, is cakes and wine for you, my dear, you can drink while you are able. Now she's taken the bottle in her hand, put out the wine so clearly. Here's a health to yours and to mine, she said, ain't you welcome home, my dearie, dearie, my dearie. Here's a health to yours and to mine, she said, ain't you welcome home, my dearie. Now she's gone upstairs to make his bed, make it soft and comfy. And now nimble she's jumped into the bed to see if it was easy, easy, so easy. How nimble she's jumped into the bed to see if it was easy. Now the light dragoon has come upstairs, with his trousers on the table. And now nimble he's jumped into the bed for to do what he was able, able, so able. Now nimble he's jumped into the bed to do what he was able. Now they laid in bed till the clock struck 1, and the trumpets they were sounding. And the spirit's now high, but her body was low. She's gone home to her mammy, mammy, her mammy. Her spirits were high, but her body was low. She's gone home to her mammy. Oh, where have you been all the livelong night? Quiet or anxious parents? Well, I've been along with the light dragoon because I love him dearly, dearly, so dearly. Well, I've been along with the light dragoon because I love him dearly.
If we ever married, well, I would be your man. Now you broke your promise, you go home with whom you please. And while my heart is aching, you are lying at your ease. Now Molly's fair and handsome, with fingers long and small, that said that she's good-natured, man, that's the best of all. Eyes as black as ravens and hair as black as coal, and cheeks just like the lilies blooming in the morning dawn. And I'll go down to the river when everyone's asleep, and I'll pick on handsome Molly and hang my head and weep, saying I wished I was in London, some other seaport town. I'd set my foot on a steamboat and I'd sail the ocean around. I'd sail around the ocean, I'd sail around the sea, and I'd pick on handsome Molly wherever she may be.
His father was an Ulsterman, proud Protestant was he. Me mammy was a Catholic girl from County Cork, came she. They married in 2 churches, and marriage nigh enough until the day, my God, it's going to be a great day this, until the day that I was born, and things got really rough. Oh, it was the greatest mix-up that you have ever seen. Me father, he was orange, but me mother, she was green. Baptised by Father Murphy, then rushed away by car to become a little Orangeman, me father's pride and star. I was christened David Anthony, but still in spite of that, to me father I was William, to me mother I was Pat. Off to church then every Sunday, with me mother I proudly strolled. Then later on the orange love would try to save me soul. Yes, both sides tried to claim me, but I was smart because I played me flute or I played me harp, depending on where I was. Oh, it was the greatest mystery that you have ever seen. Me father, he was orange, and me mother, she was green. Oft times I'd sing those rebel songs, much to me mother's joy. Me father, he'd jump up and say, hey now William, me boy. And up of that there son, he'd then give me a coin to sing about the orange flute and heroes of the Boyne. One day me mum's relations, they come round to visit me. By chance me father's kinfolk, they were sitting down to tea. We tried to smooth things over, but they all began to fight. And me being strictly neutral, I bashed everyone inside. Oh, it was the greatest mystery that you have ever seen. Me father, he was orange, but me mother, she was green. Now me parents, they could never agree upon me kind of school. Me learning was all done at home, no wonder I'm a fool. They both passed on, God bless them, but I'm still stuck between that terrible colour problem of the orange and the green. Oh, the orange and the green, the orange and the green. Me father, he was orange, but me mother, she was green.
Well, I'll tell you a tale of a folk that I know. Of a Sunday they would all go. They'd stand at the bar with a glass in their hand, but it wouldn't be best here alone. For the evils of drink never left such a trail. For the man that would stick to his gin, they'd hang on to the bar with a gun and run. For the black bottle they'd had their fill. Aye, the black bottle they'd had their fill. Well, they'd come out to celebrate each Sunday night. From their wives they'd find any excuse. It was usually a Monday afore they supped up. Then they'd ganyem and carve for a truce. Mind, there was one occasion that I can recall, when the landlady looked kind of glum, and she told them that supped it, and there was no more. I'm afraid the black bottle is done. I am afraid the black bottle is done. Well, I'm glad that it's done, shouted Lamb Matty Reed to the chaps that stood by inside. If the wife comes for me, well, I'll be ready to go. Instead of walking, no, I'll get right. There's been many the moan upon hill and fell, with a body that it's just been no fun. There's many is the time, well, I've said never again. Though I'm glad the black bottle is done. I am glad the black bottle is done. Now Isabel thinks her husband's left yem. He says Mary the barmaid and all, but she'll get quite a shock at 11 o'clock as Ozzy comes in through the door. She'll think he's gone wrong of his mind, and she'll know when she asks him how come. And he tells her that Betty, well, she said all that she had, and now the black bottle is done. I know the black bottle is done. Well, I'm glad that it's done for the sake of me wife. If there's no drink, I'll ganyem instead. And you'll see there offers, he says to Eileen, as she tucks Jasper up in his bed. In the morn I'll be ready to give it me best. Without drink the hard work will get done. Them two sons of mine, why they can lie on and rest. They'll be glad the black bottle is done. Aye, they'll be glad the black bottle is done. Wayne Morris the barman, he was in two minds, would let folks gan for time. Course he'll make they make profit if they gan him soon, but he'll get to his pit walk on time. And as he sings sweet love songs to Betty's wife, she makes eyes that promise much more. He says, "Gan upstairs, pet, I'll be with you real soon." Now he's glad the black bottle is done. Ah, he's glad the black bottle is done. Well, there's always one link in the chain that is weak, though all our intentions were good. And mostly the chaps have now bended their ways, alone at the bar one man stood. Well, he looked at his glass, it was empty and sad. He said, "I'll not leave this public house." Then Jackie Robson, he said them famous words, "If the black bottle's done, I'll have grouse." Aye, if the black bottle's done, I'll have grouse.
I took a walk one September day and met a young man dressed in grey. A glaze of sadness was in his eye. I heard his grief as he passed me by. Oh, love is fine in the month of June, but the autumn winds come around too soon. They'll cool her heart like some devil's fan, and then you'll find you're a lonely man. When I wore the navy blue, no girl on earth would I find as true. But now my suit's of the sober grey. Her heart belongs to another day. She had those eyes that belong to queens, the sharpest blue that I've ever seen. Her hair was soft as a passing cloud, her skin as fair as an angel's shroud. I know my pleas are no good at all, just a summer breeze on the castle wall. But who knows that someday I'll find a window into her changing mind. So now he walks along the strand, a bunch of pebbles in his hand. Each time he casts one at the tide, he feels the pain of the way she lied. So sailors all, if you'd have her true, don't court your girl in the navy blue. For when you change to the sober grey, you'll find her heart will turn the other way.
Oh, lovely.